Hello, hello. All right, and can you guys hear me? Hey, Rusty, hey, Cloyster. So can you guys hear me just fine? Yep. Let me. Let's not do music today. All right. All right. So, mic's a bit quiet on my end. All right. Let's see if I can. Huh. Let me see. Apologies, I only have the one monitor. So you get to see everything I do. Is it this one? Is that better? I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way. It's a bit quiet, huh? Stupid mic. Where can I raise the volume? I don't know how to do. Yeah, that's okay. So where? It's fine. I'll turn my speakers up. All right. Yeah. Apologies. I don't. I'm like back when I used to do this. It's not like I used to do it like full time. I did it like maybe 4 streams or something tops, and that was like more than a year and a half ago. So yeah, I'm still rusty and not entirely sure what we're doing. So okay, Cloyster, you wanted specific help in terms of making the underlay, the hero underlay, fit my operative jacket, right? You could have just screen share on Discord. Yeah, but this way I can record this later and maybe edit it down so that it can be a tutorial of sorts. Okay, so you already know how to export and navigate through the editor, right? Exactly, yeah, sort of like a YouTube tutorial. So, for those of you that don't know, when you fire up MudBuddy, this I opened a project of my own. This is the enemy within covert operatives, and in order to fire, you go Tools and XCOM Editor, right? It'll take a while, give you a prompt that you can just ignore, and you're finally in. To navigate through it, you can either search on this bar up here for individual names of files, or you can search by the package that they're in. You heard a lot of people say UPKs. UPKs are the packages, right? So these are the names of the packages. So you have the torso skeletal mesh exported. Okay, all right. So then let me export mine just so that everybody watching can know how to do it. You just click on it. You right click, export to file, wherever you want. Just make sure that it's an FBX. Save. Done. Make sure that it's the skeletal mesh. You'll notice that skeletal meshes have this like purple border, while static meshes have this blue border. We want the skeletal mesh because we want the accompanying weights so that animations can properly be the vanilla. Like the animations won't break, right? The mesh will follow all of the animations and everything. Right. So now we go into Blender. In here, I already have constructed a while ago male template body. So this is using the Anarchy's Children bare arms and bare torso and the hot short short legs, and it helps me when I'm fitting clothing uh, to follow the proportions that XCOM uses, right? So what we're gonna do is you have, okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so what you want to do is you want to fit that torso onto, so that it doesn't clip with the jacket. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to be editing the mesh. Now, the way that Blender works, well, just like a little crash course. This is Blender version 2.79b. I don't, I didn't, I wasn't able to get familiarized with 2.8 and above. They had drastic changes to the UI and everything, so I got frustrated not being able to find anything. So I'm sticking with 2.79. But for our intents and purposes, it's exactly the same. I mean, the results are exactly the same. So let's break it down. This here is the main window where we're going to be doing all our stuff. You know, wheel up and down is zoom in, zoom out. You hold the wheel, you can rotate. If you shift and wheel, you can pan. And then we have friendly keyboard shortcuts that really help. On your numpad, if you go, well, the number 5 switches between orthogonal view and perspective view. I don't like perspective because it has that kind of like a fisheye weird, and if you get too close, you can't really see how it starts disappearing. So I don't like it. So I stick with the ortho view. That's 5. 1 will snap to the profile. 3 will snap to center, to front view. So 1, 3, 1, 3. 7 is from above. And 9 is opposite of wherever we are. So if I go to this profile view and then I hit 9, I'm on the opposite side. If I go to the front and I hit 9, now I'm on the back. If I go to the top and I hit 9, now I'm at the bottom. Okay, so 1, 3, 7, 9, they're going to be very, very helpful. 4, 8, 6, and 2 are just, you know, incremental, so that you can kind of twist around and see, right? They're just like incremental views. So that already is very helpful for navigating through our main view. Follow me and my beautiful cursor now towards the top right. This window over here. I have other stuff that we're going to be ignoring right now, but just to kind of guide you through this little stick figure called root are these little white grayish triangle thingies, these octahedrons. Down here on this second view, this row of icons, if you go on the stick figure, is object data. In display, you can switch them, right? So they're highlighted as octahedrons, but you can go stick, B-bones, not entirely sure what they are, envelopes, wires. I use stick and octahedron accordingly, depending on what it is I'm going to do. Names, if you want to display the names of each bone. Axis, not entirely sure. I think it's, yeah, not entirely sure. I thought it displayed the axis, but well, doesn't matter. And the others don't really matter. The only useful one is X-ray, which means if you have it off, the mesh volume will obscure it. But if you hit X-ray, we will always be able to see the bones. Okay, now an important distinction is these octahedrons. They are, each of them are bones, but together they make up what we call the armature. So the armature is basically, imagine your hand and you move your fingers, you wiggle them around. That's like the bone that's telling how to animate. If you put a glove on, that glove will follow the movement that your hand is doing, right? You know, kind of like skin over skeleton, etc. It's the same basic principle. So that when we go, for example, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but just we go into pose mode, and I hit the arm, and I rotate it. See, the arm is following the bone that's being rotated, right? So that's kind of like the basic principle. How does the mesh know how to do that? Because it has, hold on, it has weights assigned to it. This is, yeah, let's go here. For example, the rib cage, right? And it's gradient, not a solid color, because, you know, to be smooth and have smoother movements. But that is definitely getting way ahead of ourselves. I just wanted to basically teach you why it's important to use a skeletal mesh instead of a static mesh. Okay, so we have our dude. These, as beautiful and helpful as they are kind of right now visibly in the way. Even if I go stick, they're kind of in the way. So what you can do is either on this right side, the little eyeball, you know, just click to see it or hide it, or you just press the letter H to hide and Alt H to show all. Alt H will definitely show all, and as you can see here, it showed all the other Aquarian stuff that I'm working on. So, you know, use either or, however you feel like, right? So, let's get you out of the way for right now. Now, another important, okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna go File, Import, FBX. I have it on my desktop. The default import settings are fine. And we're gonna import the mesh. Now you were saying, hey, it's black, what the hell's going on? Don't worry about it. Okay, first let's analyze each part. We'll go step by step. I expanded here the hierarchy to kind of explain what's going on. So this little triangle, this is kind of like a inverted Y icon thingy, is what we call an invisible dummy, and we don't need it. Every time I've exported stuff to later re-import into the editor, I do it without it. So we're gonna delete it, but we can't just delete it right now because just select and delete, because the armature, this one, is parented to the dummy. So first order of business, I'm going to teach you how to parent and unparent stuff, which is the same basic principle, parenting and unparenting from armature to a dummy than it is a mesh to a armature. So we're going to select the armature. We're going to hit Alt P as in potato, and we're going to go clear and keep transformation. And now it's been uncoupled. See, it was called root 1. It's called root .001 because it can't have the same name. And since we already have one that's called root, that's why it chose that. So yeah, Alt P. As you can see, it has been delinked. The mesh, which is this upside down triangle, the mesh continues to be parented to the root, right? Because the children follow what the parents do. So now that it's been uncoupled, we can left click to select the dummy and just delete it. Bye, you're gone. Now, the mesh in question, we're gonna select it by either left clicking here on the drop down menu, like I believe this is called the context window, but it doesn't matter. You can either left click it here, or in your view you can right click to select. Now you can select multiple things by holding shift, right? So for example, right now I'm selecting the skirmisher torso, the mail template, and the armature. And if you notice, orange, orange, yellow. That's to indicate that the last selection, it will always be in the color yellow. This is important for exporting scenarios. Now, if you also another couple of helpful quick keys, hotkeys. A is all, select all or deselect all. It's toggle. The letter Z switches a view down here. If you go down here, this is the shading, and you can select bounding box, which is absolutely not helpful at all. Wireframe, which is what I'm toggling from, toggling towards. Solid, where I'm toggling from. Texture, in case it has textures, we'll get into that later on. Material, we'll get into that later on. And rendered, which, since I don't have any light, of course it's completely dark. You can hit Z to toggle, and it's very helpful for when we're actually editing the mesh. So you're going to be using this little thing a lot, and you're also going to be using this one over here a lot, this pull down menu or pull up menu. Notice that we are in object mode. These things, these meshes, are objects. The armature is also an object. All of these separate things are objects. Like, say for example, I have my Quarian chest guard. That thing is an object. Quarian limbs. These are a separate objects. Okay. You can't make any meaningful edits while in object mode because, say for example, look here on the top left, I can translate, rotate, and scale. If I scale, it's going to do it uniformly, and the pivot point is the ground floor. ESC to cancel. If I wanted to do that in edit mode, you can either click here and go into edit mode. Here, wait, sorry, let me do that. Okay. Or you can hit the tab key. Tab key toggles between edit and object mode. Also incredibly helpful. Once you're in edit mode, you can hit A to select all. Now notice that the pivot point is no longer on the ground. It's in the average mean center of everything that's been selected. So now when I hit scale, it's following that pivot point. Right? Let me show you better examples using now stuff that we actually want. So, yeah, ESC as in ESC escape. Yeah, correct. Okay. So, why is the mesh black? Okay, this is rather simple. So again, in this like middle on the right side section, you have these several different icons, right? This is scene. This is something that we were never going to use. This is for other purposes, like say for example you want to make an animated short for school or whatever. So this is your scene. So you're going to set up cameras and lights and textures and materials and blah, blah, like a shit ton of stuff that we were not going to be using. This is render layer, no idea. I think this is the world. No, this is the scene. This is the world, doesn't matter. Object, doesn't matter right now. Modifiers. This is the mesh. Vertex groups. We want to go into the circle one. Circle one is the material window, the material tab. Here we can see. Okay, this will be a good visual example. Okay, so see how it says there's only one item here on this like little drop down menu, and it says unit armor M. That's because that is only one object. But say for example, let me hit wireframe mode so it's easier to see what I'm about to show you. If we select the template, suddenly we see that it has all of these, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 5 different material slots but it's still just one object. What this is going to do is, if we go quickly just into the editor, what would be a good example? Give me 1 second. Is it? No, it's not HU. Soldier. Reference all. Okay. This takes a bit. Why, I don't know, but it shouldn't. Okay, here we go. So here's a little soldier dude. Notice materials, all of these little slots, right? And we hit these and it's selecting various different parts of it. How many are here? How many are going to be in here? Is how many we're going to have here. So when we're doing importing and exporting and all that stuff, I'll show you a little bit better, but how exactly that relationship works. But okay, so god damn it, we're trying to fix this black thing, so let's fix it. On the diffuse, you just have your color. It's just going to default it to black. You just click here, let there be light, choose whatever color you like, and boom. If you wanted to have a little bit of a shine, we can, but we don't need to. Again, this is not going to be important for what we're doing. This is more, again, for people that want to actually, they're using Blender to build stuff and scenes and animations and shorts and cool little GIFs or whatever, and movies. That's what they want to do. We're just using Blender quite literally just as an extended tool to alter the assets that we want to for the game. So really, we're just setting up the mesh for what we want to do. Nothing else that happens on Blender is really important. So again, say for example, the arms are red, the legs are green, the torso is blue, the head is this hot pink. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect anything that we're going to be doing in the editor. That's where we are going to set up all of the textures and all of the materials. So anything that we're setting up here in Blender will not matter. Now let me show you. Let's hide this armature because it's a little bit on the way. Let me show you a little bit more of what I mean with textures and materials. Now this is something that you do not need, but it helps. It helps me when I'm altering meshes. So you go into the, here again, I'm on the right side. We're going to go into, this is the material tab, now we're going to go into the texture tab. Since I have the head selected, let's go into, let's keep the head selected. We're going to go now into the texture tab, and there is nothing. So we're going to hit new, and now there's a texture. We're going to go down here, we're going to go open. I have my shortcuts already set up. Tag is, never delete these. Arms, let's go head. These I've exported from the game, just as we exported the mesh. It's just how I exported the textures. You just need to make sure that their file format is TGA. So I'm gonna choose the female head, the female normal map. Now we're seeing nothing. We go into texture, and that's not the one. We want to go into material, and suddenly the head, we can see the torso has been applied, the texture. Now there's a lot of intricacies, ins and outs, and stuff like that that we don't really need to know, because again, we're not going to be texturing anything in Blender. We're going to be texturing it somewhere else. But this helps us see what we want to do. So say, for example, and even better, if we go back to materials, scroll down a little bit, and here where it says shading, we click shadeless, boom. There's absolutely no shadows at all. So it helps us see way better, because say, for example, when we were with shades, and say I'm doing something in the back of his head, well, it's pretty damn dark. I can't see where anything is, right? But if I go shadeless, then okay, here's where everything is. Great. Okay. So that's a nifty little trick. Functionally, it's an electronic sculpting tool. Yep. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. So we have one of our meshes. Hold on. Okay, so let me keep you. Well, yeah, we can expand you. Okay, so let's select the torso, the hero torso, the Skirmisher Reaper torso. If you don't like the name displayed here, just double click, name it whatever you want. This is going to be Reaper torso. I don't want it to be parented to this armature. I want to parent it to my other armature, and I'll explain why in a second. But so we just going to repeat the same process. Alt P, clear, and keep transformation. Now we can freely select this armature that we're not going to be using and delete it. Now I'm going to unhide the armature of the male body, full body template, and we want to parent it to that one. So pressing A to deselect. So now right click to select the torso, right click to select the armature. Again, remember, it's in yellow. This means it's the one that's been selected last. And now we're gonna go Control P. See, set parent to. We have a lot of options. The one we're looking for, always, forever, until the end of time, is armature deform. And now you can see that the Reaper torso has been included in the hierarchy under our armature called root. Why is this important? Well, because now when I go into pose mode and I move the rib cage, yay, right? Before, when we didn't have that, and it was parented like so, and I go into pose, see, that's why. So let's do that again. I did a lot of undos there just to show you, but let's do that again. Control P, armature deform, boom, we're set. Be gone for a second. Now we're gonna import FBX, navigate to wherever you saved yours. Mine is new creations, props, and enemy within satchel. But where's the enemy within? Where's the deco enemy within jacket? Female. Do I have male? Where? Torso male. What is this? Oh, this is a t-shirt. Huh. I don't have it because my computer died. You said that you sent me the stuff, right? In RAR? Okay. where? Was it here? Was it in? Oh, the. There we go. Only the torso underlays, not the jacket. Don't know how to export from mods. Oh, okay. Well, that's actually going to be a good thing to show you, because it's going to be exactly the same principle. So let's go into the editor. See, the problem is, since I lost my files, do I have them? Because I remember when I was desperately trying to do a backup when the computer was eating itself, I do have it. Okay, I do have it. All right, perfect. Okay. So, so how do we do that? We go into the editor, and we're gonna go down here, and we're gonna go open an external package. So we're gonna navigate to. I'm going to be navigating somewhere else, but let me show you how to reach where you want to go. What you would do is you would need to navigate to wherever you have saved your Steam apps, blah, 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 and then you go into Workshop, Content, 268500, and then this is the list of all of the mods that you've downloaded, right? So you would say, I don't know, this one, I don't have no idea what this is. This is a voice pack, so that's not gonna work. Nothing's gonna work, but that's how you navigate towards your workshop for your mods when you want to download stuff from mods. I, on the other hand, have it saved somewhere else, so I'm gonna go into here document, yeah, here content. Now I'm gonna open both. And I'm not going to tell you why I have two instead of one just yet, because that's way later. That's a step way later. That's when we're importing and setting up the actual mod. So it takes a little while to refresh. So now we got to find it. So I just click here, and it's EU something, and see it's so it starts narrowing it down. So boom. So now I save GD for the archetypes. So the archetypes I save in a separate UPK, and then all of my assets here. So now now I'm seeing all of my assets. It's like, yay! So now we're gonna grab the jacket mail. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, deco. This is the torso or the deco? This is the deco. See, this is why labeling really helps. Export file. Do share, Rusty. What's that faster way? Desktop. Make sure it's an FBX. Save. So now it's been saved. So now we can go back to Blender. We're gonna go File, Import, FBX, Desktop. There we go. And within Operative Jacket. Boom. These little bugs next to packages will change to Explorer view. Oh, okay. Okay. What little boxes? These? Over here? Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you're more comfortable with. Like, for example, Shadow and Obi and E and Arrow, and a lot of people just have very different settings, and I'm like, Obi especially. The way he sets up his packages and stuff just makes me go insane. But hey, whatever works, right? And as long as it works for the end user. Okay, so now we're back here, and oh, look again. It has the dummy, and another armature, and the mesh. So again, we're gonna select first the mesh, the armature, Alt P to unparent. Now we can select the stupid ass dummy and delete you. You're gone. Now we're gonna select the mesh. Actually, yeah, let's do that so that you can also understand that it doesn't matter. Since we're eventually going to want to parent the jacket to our main armature and not use this one, actually that step doesn't even matter. We can just straight go into select the mesh, Alt P on parent, and now we can select both Mesh, shift and the dummy, click the dummy, delete. Bye. Now you're both gone. Now let's unhide the one we want. Select the jacket. Shift right click to select the armature. Control P, armature deform. And now it's one big, nice, beautiful family. Under one armature, we have all three things that we want. All right. Let's go ahead and not make this black. Let's go over here. Let's go with a little olive-ish color. There we go. That's kind of close to what it is. Anyways, you can choose whatever color you want. It really doesn't make a difference. So now what do we do? We're gonna hide this one. So you're like, oh my god, this could be such an awesome look, but stupid Kex didn't account for Reaper torsos and it doesn't fit. Well, this is why our wireframe view comes in really handy, because we can see that if I select the shift, right? See, for starters, the different colors really help. So it's not that much that I need to account for the difference here. But as you can see, if we select our dude and then we select the Reaper torso, let us actually hide the jacket for a second. And this is EU jacket. All right. Well, we see that it's fine. It's not supposed to be form-fitting, although it is very form-fitting on the rest of the areas. So what I would do, there are different ways to do this, right? I mean, we can increase the size of the jacket, or we can lower or we can decrease the size of this torso. Personally, I like the second option because increasing the size of the jacket in order to cover the clipping is going to, remember, tab to switch between edit and object. If I increase the size of this one, it's just going to be, I mean, it already kind of looks a little bit like it fits nicely, right? It's not form-fitting and it's not incredibly loose-fitting. It's a nice, good jacket on a nice-looking buff man. If we increase that, it's just going to look a little off, in my opinion, and in my experience doing so much of this stuff. So, yeah, that's also an excellent point. Decreasing the size of it, yeah, will make it work with other decos, 100%, 100%. So, say for example, something dumb that I'm doing, I am splitting my Quarian stuff for that exact same purpose. So say for example, you can fit the poncho by itself on top of it. And I mean, I need to do a little work over here, but see, you can fit it on top and it looks awesome, right? And then I also have down here, I was working on the t-shirt because I want the poncho to fit over the t-shirt. So it's work in progress. It's a little bit on the shelf right now, but I can get back to it, right? So, or just have the chest guard. It looks pretty cool. So we want to achieve the same thing. See, for example, let me hide all the Quarian stuff that we don't care about. But the t-shirt fits over the jacket, right? Because I altered the size of the t-shirt to fit as close as possible and as best as possible, but also still maintain the. It's a T-shirt, not on one of those exercise, lycra shirt. It's not body tight. So it fits. So in general, think that's the better principle. Now, lucky for us, and unlucky for you, I have not and probably will not do a male clothing pack. So for our purposes, we only need to account. Well, you only need to account for one thing. Um, for me, it's making different torsos is a pain because I have to account for so many different jackets and decos. But Aw. Hey, I don't know. We'll see. Never say never, right? But we'll see. But yeah, so right now we only have to account for one thing, one jacket, one deco, and that's gonna make our lives way easier. So let's go ahead and hide the T-shirt because we're not gonna be using it right now. Let's go ahead and hide the. No, let's not hide the jacket. Let's keep all three. Okay. Now the actual reason why we're all here. Well, yeah, we're gonna start editing. So, A will select all. Let me show you really quickly because it's better to show you on this dude. Yeah. Okay. If I hit the letter L, it will select linked vertices. These little things, vertices. This line is an edge. This is a face. Down here, if you follow my cursor, we got vertex select, edge select. So when I click on it, it will select the edges. Again, shift right click to select multiple. Or face select. It's just more options for you to feel more comfortable with how and what it is you're going to be changing. Me personally, I enjoy vertex, so I do vertex. Going back to what I was saying, the letter L will select all linked vertices or edges or faces. So hover over one, press the letter L, and it selected all linked ones. If we go to the bottom left right here, we'll see that we can change what parameter the L selection will do it. So it'll either do it by normals, by the material. Remember we had 5 different ones, right? So, right? We can select by seam. Oh, okay, yeah, seams. That's I was hoping the armored underlays may inspire you too. Maybe. They are really cool, honestly. Yeah, the plated and the. Oh, I should go ahead and get those because those are bulky as well. So what is this? Whore. I don't know why it's called whore, but it's called whore. This is the light tactical powered. I believe plated is bulkier. Huh. Huh. I don't know. No, I think powered is bulkier. Huh. Alright. Alright, so yeah, let's go to powered. Yeah, boom, export. Yeah, desktop, yeah, bye. Done. Alright. Where were we? Right. Different selection types. Seams. Let's say, for instance, that I want to make. Alright, yeah. A 1980s male midriff. Right? So we can, oh, okay, another form of selections. Yeah, so we got our A's, we got our L's. If we press the letter B as in box, we'll do a box select. You just click and drag. Or we press the letter C as in circle, wheel up and down to increase the size, and then hold left click to select, and hold wheel button click to deselect. So let's say yeah, okay. I selected all of these, right? Now on this left side, you got tools, create, shading UVs, options, grease pencil, etc. We're gonna go into shading UVs, and with them selected, we're gonna hit here under UV mapping, mark seam. Then we press the letter A, and now it has this red border. So now that when we hit the letter L, and it's under seam, it's a nice way to block off selection. Right? Oh, right, I didn't, yeah. Well, so, you know what I mean. Okay. So, with this selected, we go back to tools, and then we can hit delete faces, and we didn't select parts down here. Delete, and boom, we got AC Slater over here. Oh, that's a 90s reference. All right, ignore me. All right. So, it's a nifty little way of selecting things. So yeah, so we got the L. Okay, so you're gonna be asking like, hey, but why is it doing that? Aren't they linked? Well, not really. They're broken apart. I don't want them broken apart. I want them to be together. How do I do that? For both of them, we get. All right, sweet. All right. Saved by the bell. All right. This is a practice that me personally I do always, but some people don't like to. Specifically when we're dealing with hard surfaces. So, for example, for weapons and buildings, stuff like that. What I'm about to show you is something that we would not want to do. But for stuff that is a bit more organic, it's fine. So what do we do? We noticed that, okay, here. If I right click to select it, it's only selecting, it's like there's two on top of each other on the exact same coordinate in space, right? So I can hit shift, but it's like why is it not selecting the other half? So you can go into the wireframe mode and then shift, and okay, now it's selected, but I only want this to be one. See, if we go up here, we see that verts 2 are selected out of 181. It's 2. We don't want 2. We want it to be 1. God damn it. So I'm going to select the whole shebang. Or actually, no. First, let me show you. Different ways. We can select both. And then we can go into here, merge. At first would be at the location of the first vertex you selected, or the last one. The center of both, at whatever your cursor is, or collapse. You can go at center. And now you see that it's only one vertex selected, right? So we deselect it and then we right click it, and now it's one. But I don't want to do that individually for all of these different areas where I'm gonna have to do the same. That's gonna take centuries. So I don't want to do that. So we're gonna select all. And we're gonna over here on the left side, remove doubles. Boom. 188 vertices deleted. Now we hit the letter L for linked. The whole shebang is selected. This is good for organic stuff, but not for like I was saying, hard edge stuff like weapons, swords, firearms, any hard edge surface, because it kind of makes it rounded off, right? For instance, oh yeah, sorry. When we're in object mode, see, we're in object mode. We have this option of shading that can be helpful or not, whether we want it to be smooth or flat, right? So we know that it's kind of like a hard edge here, but it's kind of smoothed out. What would it look like if I hadn't done that? We can go here to shading UVs. We can select these, for instance. Edge, sharp. And that's what it would look like. See, we're still in smooth. Right, so that's also a nifty little trick. Right, undo, Control Z, like since the beginning of time, and the dinosaurs used to Control Z. Okay, let's do it. The way I like to do it is I like to select whatever my reference is going to be, and then I shift select the one that I'm going to be editing. Then I hit tab, and now I'm in the edit mode of the torso, but this one's selected. Why? Because when I go into wireframe mode, I have a very clear visual reference to what it is that I want to do. Now, let's actually get into it. There is mirror editing, which means, you edit on one side and it automatically does it on the other side, but I'm not sure why I haven't been able to get it to work. I'm sure there's Blender tutorials on how to do mirror stuff, but I haven't gotten it to work. So basically I just say, for example, well, let's start with this line, right? This one over here. I just go on this side, hit the letter C, right, and it's going to select on both sides. So that when I move it, it's just going to do it on both, right? Now, there is a godsend, because for the better half of my modding career, I didn't know this existed. So I used to do all of my alterations vertex by vertex. You don't need to do that, because say, okay, so I want you to be here, but now this is a little too hard and ugly, and now I'm gonna have to go select you and kind of make up for it, and but I forgot you, and now I have to screw that. We're gonna go down here. No, we're not. We're gonna hit the letter O, as in proportional editing. You noticed that this little blue little circle lit up, and this little squiggly line also lit up. But you're not seeing jack shit. The reason we're not seeing jack shit is because the cursor, for some reason, for default, has been increased to the size of an entire state. So we're gonna hit the letter, doesn't matter, but I'm gonna hit the letter G. G is for translate, shortcut G. Rotate is, it doesn't matter. You can hit the letter R for rotate. See, there's a cursor. Like, why is it that size? Wheel up or wheel down. And then we're going to hit ESC to get out of that, because we don't want to rotate. We just did that so that we could make the size of the cursor into something with more friendly. Why? Because now with proportional editing on, it gradually moves the entire thing. The vertices I chose, and it gradiently, softly moves everything around it. Now this might be a little bit too much because see now it's making the neck clip. So let's just decrease the size again. And, I just discovered this proportional editing like 6 months ago. Oh my god, it's a godsend. It's a thing of beauty. So, enough screwing around. Let's get to it. I'm going to select the neck one. Doesn't matter, I'm going to hit the letter H to hide it. Not delete it, just hiding it so that I can easily and more comfortable select the areas that I know I'm going to want to change, which are these. Yeah, probably you. Probably there. Let's turn on. Oh, alright. 2 of you, all of you. Oh, wait. You two. That's a good start. Let me make it a little bit smaller. And we're gonna go 0. And I'm going to deselect these. Beautiful. Now I'm going to select these. I mean, this is quick and dirty, right? But you understand the principles of what will need to be done. I want you to. Yeah, I'm gonna want you to as well. Okay. Which was you and you. Okay, so then we're gonna go, and this is basically just trial and error, right? Repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Oh. Now, does this matter? Does this really matter? This is the torso that we're going to be exporting. There's nothing that's going to be underneath. So it doesn't really matter that it clips here right now because this is just my reference guy, my template. Doesn't matter. But to try to preserve the muscularity of this dude, let's try to just keep it like that and see. I'd say we're almost there, right? You can barely see. I mean, this is just by experience. I know that even if we zoom in, we can't see anything. But it's so close that I know that with movement, it will clip. I mean, we can test it right now. Let's turn you on. Let's turn you on. It's in object mode. We want, for the armature, we want to go into pose mode. Rib cage is selected. Let's actually, this is what I meant before. Let's go into sticks so that it doesn't obstruct our view that bad. Let's select the rib cage. Let's go on this view. Let's rotate. It seems fine. Yeah, but the torso is very user-friendly. Let's test the shoulders. Those are assholes. All joints are assholes. Let's test it. Huh. See? When we move, let's go on this view, the top view. Oh, I'm hitting rotate, but then on the keyboard I'm hitting the letter Z. And let me explain that. Shit, I can't believe I didn't explain that. Okay. This little gizmo, the blue arrow, green arrow, red arrow, the little gizmo, is what helps us move stuff, and we know into what direction, what axis we want to move that stuff, right? So for moving, it's pretty simple, right? For rotating, yeah, okay, let's do this. Okay, so for rotating, we can either click here or hit the letter R, and then we can just mouse, or hit the letter R and then press the letter Z, and we're going to rotate on the Z axis, or on the Y axis, or on the X axis. Same thing for scaling. We press the letter S. If we mouse, it'll do it uniformly. But if we scale on the X, we're not going to see it because, okay. If we scale on the X, it'll just do the X. Scale on the Z. Scale on the Y. Right? Same for the bones, although we're not going to be editing them. Not at all. That is a higher tier of modding. But same principle here applies. Sorry for that little detour. That was just because we were rotating on the Z. Right? So we're moving the shoulder a little bit backwards. And you're like, yeah, but maybe the shoulder is never going to twist that much. Okay, so what about the arm? You go on the Z. And I can see that's a pretty common movement. Right? Having the arm this high, and now it's clipping. Why is it doing that? Well, unfortunately, that's where the complications start rearing their ugly heads. In order to make that work, we need to be... Remember when I showed you back then the weights? The weights, how if I select the rib cage on you and the rib cage on you, we could see that it's fairly similar in terms of dark blue going into lighter blue going into green, light blue dark blue going into light blue going into green going into yellow and orange and red. This means just quickly, red, think of this is the strength. Yeah, this is the strength of influence that a bone will have over the mesh's vertices. Scale from 0 to 1 right here. A 1 equals 100%. That is a color red. That means that if I move it, it will move 1 to 1. 0 being light blue, dark blue, and everything in between, means that the influence, the strength of influence that it has over these vertices is weaker, is softer. Thus, the movement will be gradient. It will bend softly without looking too bad. For instance, see, it still looks fine, but let's use our t-shirt example. If I were to paint this entire thing red with the strength 1, when we move to rotate, wait, hold on, Jesus Christ. When we move to rotate, oh, it's not, god damn it, it's not parented. Okay. LP, clear transformation, go to object mode, do this quickly, U, Control P, now we're in the same, now select U, pose, rotate, wait, what am I bending? Ribcage. See how it's completely strong, and it's not gradient or soft or smooth. It allows bends. Anyway, let's not get into that right now. We kind of have to, but the thing is, if we go into the Reaper torso and we select the ribcage, god damn it. Yeah, alright. See, it's not aligned properly. If I go into, what is this, left shoulder, right? This is the strength of the left shoulder. And I go to see what's the strength of the left shoulder here. Well, I see that it's not exactly right. This area over here is yellow on the jacket. But on the Reaper torso is green, which means it's weaker. So that presents problems. Possible solutions is we repaint the thing, which is what I do, but it's long and tedious and not exactly easy. But say, for example, because we have a couple of options here. Say, for example, one option is you want to keep the torso in its entirety in case you want to be able to fit it underneath this jacket, but also maybe you want one of your soldiers to be using that without the jacket. Why do I mention this? Because one option that we could do is we can cut the torso and remove those parts. If we're only and always just going to want to have this as an option, as a torso option, not a customizable per se separated items, but an entire one-piece torso that is the jacket with this underlay, then yeah, we can do that. That would be actually a smart choice. So then we just go into edit mode, deselect, and I would select, let's hide the jacket for a second, and the t-shirt. Yeah, okay, so yeah, probably here as well. Hell, if it's going to have the jacket on, we don't need the back, right? We don't even need the sides. the rib portion. We only need this area. But maybe you can kind of see it in this angle. So maybe let's not delete the whole thing, but you can definitely get rid of that. Delete faces. We could do that. That's one way to do it, and I've done this for several. You know how I have torsos that show either the chest or the midriff or maybe a little bit of the shoulders. So that's what I do, right? The I don't have the entire torso underneath the clothing. The parts that are covered up, I delete them. Uh, it also saves memory. I mean, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but you know, it's less stuff to to analyze, and and it's definitely one way to solve our quote unquote issue here. I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you want to do? And it's up to you, obviously, because 1 second. I'm eating beef jerky. Okay. Cutting it away sounds good to you. Okay. It'd be nice to be able to have it as a universal torso for use with any gear. I agree. I agree. You can have both, though. Right? No limits. As my almost 1 GB sized female clothing pack can attest to. We can add so much as we want. Let me go AFK for a second. That's cool, Rusty. Oh, okay, you guys want to take a little break? Let's do it. Let's take a 5-minute break. And let me know when you're back. In the meantime, let's have some tunes. All right, back in 5, everybody.